my name is Angie. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. This is a channel where I typically like to make videos about books as well as homeschooling, mostly book related. So today's video is my TBR for Quarantineathon. I'm also doing another readathon this month called Springathon, so look for my TBR videos soon. But today's is specifically about Quarantineathon, which is hosted by April over at Getting Hygge With It. She's one of my favorite booktubers, and really what she has planned here is just to inspire people to stay home. And there's weekly prompts, which I think is kind of fun. The readathon runs from May 3rd to May 30th, so 4 weeks. So I will leave her announcement video as well as her book suggestions below. So the prompt for week 1 is to read a book that explores the hardships that humanity has faced in the past. And so there are a number of books on my shelf that I could pick for this. I was feeling a little bit more like I wanted something a little lighter, not quite so heavy, because last month I read All the Light You Cannot See, which is an amazing World War II book, but it was a little heavy at times. So my plan for this prompt is to read The Book Thief. It's by Marcus Zusak. It is a middle grade World War II novel. So it's a little less heavy, I believe, but it sounds so good still. So this is about a German girl named Liesel, and she's recently orphaned, and then she loses her brother. And I think at his funeral, she finds a book near his gravesite or something like that, and she steals it, hence the name, The Book Thief. And so at that point, she wasn't intending to steal a lot of books. I think that was more accidental. But then she starts intentionally stealing books as the book progresses. The story goes to where her foster family takes her in, and her foster father actually teaches her to read, which makes, I think, her draw to books even stronger. But then from there, it sounds like the family takes in a Jewish man, I believe, and lets him live in the basement or somewhere in the house. And then I think it is a little bit of a tearjerker, but it sounds really good. And so this is the one I am picking that just shows that humanity can overcome. It can overcome the hard times. And so I'm looking forward to picking this one up. For week 2, the prompt is to read a book about an individual that would be at risk. So you're talking kind of your elderly, your immunocompromised, things like that. So I've picked elderly, and so I want to read The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. This looks so good. So this is about a woman who is an author. She's kind of a recluse. People don't really know her very well. She hasn't shared much kind of with the public, this character. And so she gets near the end of her life. She definitely qualifies as an at-risk person. So she's old and ailing. So what she has done up till now was that she liked to write stories about her life. They weren't true stories though, because she's written a number of them, and they're all different. So they're clearly not true. And her fans are just curious about what is her real life like. So she hires this biographer and she starts to tell her story. And that is what this book is about. And that sounds so fascinating to me. One, just because I love to hear kind of stories of somebody's whole life. But two, just to kind of know that like she has not told the truth so many times prior to this, that it's like, do you trust her? Do you trust her narrative? Is she a character that will lie? So that looks so good. I'm so interested in reading that book. So that is my book for the second week. For the third week, the prompt is to read a book about an essential worker. So hospital worker, doctor, grocery worker, firefighter, policeman. So I chose a firefighter. And the book I chose is Things You Save in a Fire by Catherine Center. I've had a number of people recommend me this book, so I've been wanting to get it. So this gives me a good excuse. This is about a woman who lives in Texas. She's a firefighter. I believe she's the only woman on the crew, sort of idea. So she had to work really hard to being accepted as a part of that fire crew. But then her mom contacts her, and it sounds like it's kind of a strained relationship. Maybe they haven't communicated in a while, but her mom contacts her, and I believe she's old and ailing again, so this could be a week 2 prompt as well, probably. And she convinces her daughter to move back. This woman does. She moves back home, and then she joins a fire station in Boston. I guess she's not as accepted, or there's a lot of work she has to do to become accepted, except for this one firefighter who's also a rookie, and he doesn't seem to mind that she's a woman or that she's new, and strikes up a friendship. Could be romance, I'm a little unsure. But all in all, this book sounds like it's a lot about family, it's a lot about choices, and kind of that stickiness of family. So that sounds really good. So I'm excited for that book. So week 4 is to read a book about something that you have missed, that you want to get back to after the quarantine. And so there's so many things. I mean, friends and family for sure, the library, all sorts of stuff, but I landed on the movie theater. The movies are one of my favorite things to do. We don't go a ton because we have such young kids and all those reasons, but it is one of my favorite things. And so I picked a book about a movie star. The book is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It's by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's about a woman who has reached older age. This story encompasses her entire career, and her career is as a famous movie star. And so it goes through kind of how she started, how she got to Hollywood, how she got into the industry, and then I guess it also tells it in respect to all her husbands, because she had 7 different husbands. So it just sounds really good, and I've heard it's really engrossing, like it pulls you into the story really well. And so that just sounds so good. Anyway, those are my picks. They all are books that I'm looking forward to reading. So, are you participating in Quarantineathon? I think you should. It'll be really fun. Again, I put all the links below so you can find all the information. Please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel if you like what you see, and take care.